All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be a special edition of Tailor Made Cakes, episode 45, people. All right, people, we back. All right, welcome to episode 45. Can you state your name and where you're from?
My name is Gavin. I'm from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and I'm a sneakerhead.
Wow, I love that old school Vancouver Grizzly jersey.
Yeah, man.
I'm not mad at that at all because I'm still into jerseys myself, so I'm not mad at that at all.
Is John Morant though? So it's new
Right,
school, old school.
right, right. I'm not mad at that at all. So,
Yeah, man.
are you currently based, in LA?
Pardon me.
Where are you currently based at right now?
Where
Like,
am I currently based in?
yeah, where you living right now?
I'm in Vancouver, BC.
Okay,
The Great White North, Canada. It's
okay.
uh, it's the closest thing to a non-cold, wintry city we got up here.
Okay, I'm not mad at that at all. So, would you consider yourself a sneakerhead, a collector, or a reseller, or a combination?
I would say a combination of the first two with a touch of the third. So I've collected lots of stuff my whole life. I like shoes. I like action figures. I like sports memorabilia and stuff like that in general. I find shoe heads, we often are into like a lot of that other peripheral stuff.
Right,
And I've bought and sold on eBay for literally 20 plus years. I've
right.
probably been selling on eBay for, you know, 15 years, but I'm not like the reseller you see like telling you how to make millions off shoes on the internet or something. I always buy things generally in my size,
Right.
thinking I might sell it one day or this or that. I only on rare occasion when I see like a big batch of things going out the door for super cheap.
Okay.
Might buy a couple pairs that are a bit smaller than my size and flip them online, but I'm not. I make enough from flipping to pay the rent sometimes, but
Right.
not make a career out of it.
Okay. So, what would you say is the highest price you've ever paid for a sneaker, and what's the highest you've ever sold a sneaker?
The highest I ever paid, probably somewhere around the time Kobe passed away. I
Right.
probably copped a pair of the Kobe 9, the orange and black. I think they're called the Sequoia or something, but the orange and black high top Kobe, super high Kobe 9s. I might have paid somewhere around $500 my money. So
Right.
like around at the time, probably around $400 American or something.
Okay.
So nothing like outlandish,
Right.
nothing crazy.
So
Um,
that's the Kobe that looks like a boxing thing, right?
yeah, those are pretty much my favorites. And the most I ever sold one for, I can't specifically recall. I've had a few kind of what some people call a grail. They call it a
Right.
grail. Like I've had like some Air Force 180s that were like the pink. They had the zebra pink stripes or something. Or I've had like some Kobe's that I sold that were rare.
Right.
And I probably sold all those for again somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 my money. Like sometimes they were used and stuff. I had we call it Nike SB Dunk Ferris Bueller.
Right.
Pretty used up, but like people love that shoe. People were offering me all the time. They just wanted the laces out of the shoe. They were offering me hundreds of bucks for the laces. So
That's crazy.
same neighborhood, around $500 or something probably sold.
Right. All right. So if you had to put a number count, I see that extensive selection you got behind you. If you had to put a number count on how many shoes you had at one time, what's the most amount of shoes you had at one time?
The most I've ever had at one time was probably not too much more than this. Probably the most I ever had was somewhere around 120, 130.
Okay.
And I think I tried to, and I've always got, a few on the lower shelves. There's the boxes for sale and stuff. So between what I've got for sale and what I'm, displaying and holding on to, it's always somewhere between like 100 and 120, right?
Okay.
I like to call myself a semi-retired collector. I always say like no more, I'm done. But then, one day you're cruising Instagram or you're out in the mall and you're like, oh man, I've wanted those for a lot of years, and there they are. So every time you're out, something just pulls you back in, right? I know you know the feeling.
Right. So what's the buying scene out there? Like, are you just hitting on the apps? Are you just doing like Flight Club? Go. How are you going up buying?
I've been an eBay guy for my whole life, especially starting out with loving like hockey cards and sports memorabilia and stuff. So eBay has always kind of been my go-to, especially for me because I'm not big on like. I mean, a lot of it's great. I don't hate on it, but I'm not big into like the hype stuff or like what do you call it? The collaboration. I'm not into the stuff that like really gets hot and really expensive. I'm kind of into like the older, kind of tackier looking stuff, to be honest, like compared to today, the bulkier stuff.
Right.
So eBay is great for that. I've used StockX here and there. I kind of really didn't like StockX for a while, but overall they're okay. They're not bad. I've looked at places like Goat, but I would say all things considered, it's mostly eBay. And then once in a while, when you really need something and you're like, I don't care what I have to pay because you can't find it, that's when I go to StockX and just, just go to town and make sure I got that shoe.
Right. So what's your thoughts on the sneaker game right now? Like, do you see it moving forward? Or do you miss the old days? What's your thoughts on the sneaker game right now?
I mean, I don't want to sound old or nothing, but I do miss the old days.
Right.
I'm one of those people. I have no problem with anybody. I don't really judge anybody, even if I don't like what they're doing. I don't really judge anybody for making money, however they see fit to make it or can make it. I'm a capitalist to the fullest kind of guy.
Right.
But I think a common theme you'll see going around is people think that the passion is gone, right? The enthusiasm for it is gone. It's so much about a bunch of entrepreneurs basically going out there and buying up a bunch of sneakers and selling them for outrageous prices, and I miss the old quality. I miss, I guess what I'm saying is that the world definitely is better now for acquiring sneakers and being able to access them. So you can't really hate on the way it is now compared to back then.
Right.
I would compare it kind of to superhero movies. Superhero movies, they're still great, but they come out like every other month now. Remember back in the day, like there was like one Batman movie or this movie a year, and it was big and it was hype and you were pumped. So it was like back then, we still had the internet and stuff, but it wasn't anything like it is now. So I remember, it was really what you could find on the shelf, what you could find on eBay, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I remember finding shoes on eBay that were just, I'm like, what, that exists? And, begging my dad to take that $50 he owes me for whatever so we could buy something, So, I mean, there's a nostalgia factor, there's a youth factor, there's a lot to do with it. But all in all, I do miss the old days. And I think the number one reason I actually missed them is I do think the quality was better back then. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what are your thoughts on, like, what's the most popular sneaker in your area right now? What are like mainly people wearing in your area?
I think it's got to be Yeezys, man. Like any kind of Adidas Boost or Yeezys, or I don't know what they're called, but it was a Pharrell who put out those ones like that had the message of those Adidas.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a personal trainer, and sometimes I work with like some teenagers, some 16-year-olds and stuff. So it's really Yeezys. Out here in Vancouver, like we kind of got like a Portland vibe. So I've been to Portland, so it's kind of hipster. You see a lot of Converse, Chucks.
Okay.
What you'll see everywhere, obviously, but out here, I would say it's a lot of Yeezys,
Right. Where I'm at is Yeezys right now, Jordan 1s, and New Balances. I don't know why, but it's New Balances.
I should mention that too. There's still plenty of Jordan 1. There's like basically all the basics, all the staples you'll see around. You see a lot of that out here, plus some some Yeezys, and you see like if you go downtown Vancouver, you see like some guys and some girls walking around with like some random like what do you call them, like infrared some cool old school Jordans and stuff like that. But mostly the basic hipster stuff, or like just the kind. I've never worn a pair of Yeezys in my life. I don't know if you have.
Me either.
They must be comfortable as hell because
Right.
like I said, I'm not a hater, but I look at them like I don't know why you want to wear that.
Right. I feel you. I don't have a pair yet, but everybody's telling me I gotta have a pair, just to have in my collection.
Yeah,
So
the old high tops or even the new high tops is like those don't look too bad. I'm not trying to say they're a horrendous shoe, but they're just kind of like, yeah, what's the big fuss? So hey, man, if people are comfy, it's what they want to rock. I'm all for it. For the number of colors I got in my collection, I'm not one to judge.
Right. I'm not mad at that. So what's your thoughts on how fashion is like Balenciaga, that whole wave, McQueen's, all that?
I had a few pairs that I acquired, and I just sold them. Like I've never been I just never been into it, like we have some of those like nice department stores out here that sell the Balenciaga and the Prada and all those types of shoes and stuff, and I'll give them this. They got an interesting look,
right?
It's I don't know what exactly it's going for, but you can't ignore that. You can say it's ugly, you can say it's this, but you can't. It's something, right? Like there's something there. So, but I mean, it doesn't matter how much money I ever make or something. I mean, never say never. Who knows? Once something's easily accessible, but I just can't really envision myself being comfortable wearing stuff like that. Even though I imagine they're comfortable as heck, but they just. Considering how much I love bulky shoes, those big bulky Balenciagas that got like that much lift or something, I'm like, I'm good. Not big on the designer stuff. What can I say?
Right. So are you able to walk into like a Foot Locker and find some fire, like, or are you just strictly online, or do y'all have like specialty shops where you might be able to find stuff?
It's mostly online. We do have some specialty shops, but I'll tell you, man, like Canada's Canada. Right. We just don't. If you go to Toronto, that's a bit. You'll feel more like you're in an American city in Toronto. Vancouver's kind of like it's like we're right by the border. So I mean, frankly, if you really want to go to town, you drive. It's 2 hours or less to Seattle, right? So you go to Seattle, but I mean, there's still because we're so close to the border, we do have some, I guess, what you call boutiques and specialty shops. There's a chain, I think, in Canada or BC or Vancouver called Stay Fresh, which would kind of be like your hype store that has all the Yeezy. And they have, of course, the Jordans and everything else that goes along with it. But if we're talking like the kind, like I've been to a few in Seattle and in the States, so we're talking like a true, like, it's like a Foot Locker, but for old school stuff, we got a bit, but it's not as much. It's not as good. So I've probably bought a couple pairs from places like that. But I would say the vast majority of what I do is online because I'm so into old school, right? Like I love some new school stuff and I'll buy it right there off the shelf if I see it and I like it. But because of my tastes, mostly being from the 90s and the 00s, unless they're retroing something, it's mostly on the internet.
All right, so give us your top 5 sneakers of all time. What do you think the top 5 sneakers are of all time? Your list.
And I could definitely give you my top 2 is going to be the Reebok Iverson Answer 4. So the one he wore in 2001 when he went to the finals. Okay. Jordan 13. That's probably, if I'm thinking back to like my younger years before, I could buy a bunch of sneakers, the Jordan 13, the Jordan 12 and 13. So I'll put those as 2. But seeing both of those shoes really ignited a fire. Like I wanted those shoes, Right. So I'll say the Answer 4, the 12 and the 13. Kobe 9's got to be in there. Okay. I've never worn a pair of Kobe 10s, but they're also those super high tops. So Kobe 9's in there. And Man, number five is a tough one. Now I got it. It's like picking kids. Because I want to say, like, a pair of old Reebok Questions, of course.
Right.
But do you know the Kobe NXT 360? Do you know that shoe?
Yeah.
That shoe is just so freaking comfortable. So
Right.
Questions are super comfortable too. I'll go Question. I gotta go.
Okay.
I mean, I love Kobe's and I love that shoe. It's so comfortable, but I mean, like, it's you can't go wrong with a pair of Questions. So,
right.
But I'll say answer 4, Jordan 12 and 13, Questions, and Kobe 9.
Okay.
Those for the top 5. It's probably going to change, if you ask me again in 10 minutes. But, it's somewhere around there. The answer 4 and the Jordan 13 are definitely 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah, Jordan 12 and Jordan 13 are definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, so do you have like 2 or 3 sneakers, close that you could just showcase that you want to tell a story about that means something to you?
Yeah, I could, let's see. Well, I still have these. They're beat as hell. These were a friend I had in junior high, which is grade 8. But I was the first one in my school to get this shoe, the answer 4.
Right.
And this is his old pair. So this pair of shoes is literally 22 or 23 years old. It's crumbling and cracked to hell. And it's really messed up on the bottom. But I mean, you want to talk about the shoe that kind of really started it all, so to speak. I mean, I mentioned the Jordan 13 about seeing it, but like when I bought this shoe, it was like, I think this is when I kind of became a shoe collector. I probably only had a couple pairs, but this is when like the real obsession with shoes really started. And back then, around the year 2000, like life was pretty simple in terms of like you're in school and everyone wears Nikes. Some people wear Adidas, but nobody wore Reebok. Nobody really knew about this stuff because the internet wasn't the same back then.
Right.
And I just remember seeing these ads for Iverson and his shoes, and then going into the store and seeing these. I believe they're about $160 Canadian at the time. They're probably about $100 your guys' money at the time.
Okay.
And it's just like these just set it off because they were so comfortable, and it's dented in, but the face and the bottom. So this is just this forever in my heart. Number 1 shoe. Another pair would be. You might be familiar with this one. I never actually worn these. I bought them just before the pandemic hit, but I just think this is an awesome shoe. The Jordan 13 Chinese New Year.
Yeah, crazy colorway.
Yeah, it's just, to me, this is like I said, I'm into kind of the louder, tackier stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't call this tacky, but it's got some, it's speaking to you, right? So I just love this shoe. I love everything about it. The design pattern on the side. And because it's a pair of 13s, I'll just say you can never go wrong with a pair of 13s.
Right, so, you can never go wrong with a pair of 13s, and it looks like that shoe has a lot of details.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what kind they are. Like
right.
A pair of 13s, it's going to be comfortable, it's going to have a good fit, and it's going to look good. Kind of like the way a lot of people feel about the 11s.
Right.
Feel about the 13s.
Right.
And lastly, because I'm super into like the old school and like sort of like the nostalgia and like the way basketball, like street ball and stuff like that. So I just caught these off eBay. We got some and 1 KGs.
Oh wow.
These. Yeah, so like I got so much love for like that old school and 1, now it's in Walmart and whatever, and people don't really know, but it's like, yo, there was like a hot minute in like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, and one was the same.
Basketball, yeah.
Right, and one was the same.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to have a pair of and 1 sprees that I sold on eBay and stuff like that. So just, I would say like the really super basketball-y shoes, those just, those speak to my heart, right? Like I see certain things and I'm like, man, like I love that era. I just got to have that on my shelf. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what's the holy grail shoe that you haven't been able to capture yet?
Ooh. I could tell you, instead of saying a holy grail, like I could say like a shoe. I got a funny story about a shoe that I thought I owned for like 15 years.
Right.
And then I saw they were retroing it recently, and then I realized I didn't have the shoe I thought I did.
Right.
So that would be these answers. So
Okay.
these Iverson wore these in those finals for probably game 3 or something, one of the home games.
Right.
So it was this like black white one. So I got these off you know East Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so East Bay back in the day used to put out all these exclusive and team shoes and stuff. So
Yeah, I miss East Bay.
yeah, man. Yeah, they used to really kill it. I
Right.
bought a few pairs off there the last few years too. So I thought like I saw these. This was in 06. So
Right.
wore these in 2001. I had a picture in my locker, right, of him doing that layup against Kobe in the finals. He's wearing these shoes. I was like, I always just wanted these shoes so bad. And then I thought I had them.
Right.
And then I saw this an ad online on Reebok or wherever I saw that they were going to retro these. I was like, oh, cool, I'll get a fresh pair because mine are 15 years old or whatever. And then I look a little closer. I'm like, what the hell? And you realize. So this has got like the black with the. It's so funny to stare at this picture. I even got an Iverson figure that has these shoes.
Right.
To not realize that the subtle details, right? They kill us with the retros. You know what I mean? Sometimes you love it and like it's still great, but you're like, oh, it's not like the exact shoe.
Right. It's not the same.
Yeah. So this one's got the proper, and it's got the black on the bottom instead of the white back here.
Right.
So that would be an example of like the closest thing I've probably had so far in my life to like a midlife crisis. When I was like, I realized like because I bought those in what like 05, 06, so it's like, and then these came out in like mid 2021, I think.
Right.
So like, that's 15, 16 years of thinking. It's like finding out one of your children isn't yours or something. You know what I mean? Like it was just like. It hit me, and I was like, I was messaging all my buddies, all the guys, the shoe heads we follow online, like, yo, like in the States, like, because I'm in Canada, I'm worried they're never going to release them or something. I'll never be able to get them. So that to me, I mean, this isn't probably considered a grail by most people, but for me, it was such a grail, like, and to sort of find out I had scammed myself a little bit, and then to recover and get the proper shoe. That was sort of a grail moment to me. In terms of one that I just can't get a hold of, be this one.
Okay.
So again, not necessarily a grail, but Reebok needs to re-release this shoe, the Answer 3.
Okay.
It's just a classic old school looking basketball shoe.
Right.
Reebok's very bad about retros and stuff. So this would be my grail, really, because the thing is, colors or not, they're going to release Answer 4s all the time forever.
Right.
They're like Jordan 1s of, Iversons. So this would be the closest thing to a grail for me because I want this shoe in a bunch of other colors. I want the black ones. I want the red ones. I want all the different colors. And it's a super good, comfy, classic-looking basketball shoe. So that'd be the closest thing to one where it's like, man, I've been on the verge of buying some real ugly ass beaters off Goat a couple times. I've been like looking at them.
Yeah, I'll be seeing them.
Yeah, you're kind of like, what the hell do I even need that for? You're like, I won't even be able to wear that.
Right.
But you're like, it's like you're trying to scratch an itch, and it's like it doesn't quite reach it, but it's getting back there. It scratches it a little bit, So they need to re-release this shoe. This is a grail to me. And this is they need to get on top of that before I start doing stupid things with my money and buy
right. Before you buy these ones.
Yeah, so that for me would pretty much be it.
Right. Okay. So what's a popular sneaker that you hate that you just can't stand? You're tired of seeing. What's the sneaker that you hate?
I mean. You know what? It's actually, so I'm a personal trainer. I'm in the gym a lot.
Right.
I don't know what you call them, but I know they're like they're based like I call them the basic. I call them the basic bitch Nikes. You know, like and there's nothing. Here's I totally recognize it's irrational,
Right.
but just those basic like cross trainer Nikes that people wear through life in the gym and stuff. You know, they're
Right.
convenient. You go to the Nike store, they're $60 all the time, kind of thing. They're
Right.
like light, Flyknit, whatever they are. I don't know what you call them. Just the little Nike basic, like black with like a white check. I don't know why, but those shoes drive me absolutely nuts. I don't like judge the person or something.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's just something about those shoes. I just want to like ban them from the world.
Right.
Like I guess because everybody has them, everybody wears them, everybody beats them. They're almost like a sports shoe version of Chucks or something. You know, like everyone just wears them forever. So those, like, for absolutely irrational reasons, because there's obviously nothing wrong with them at all, drive me nuts, and I hate them. And
I think it's a mental thing where it's like you sort of like get in there and be like, you might as well just get a regular pair of Air Maxes or something.
Yeah, you're just like, you're almost like, why does it have to be so plain?
Right.
I remember I was watching some shoot, a guy with the shoe channel, and he was talking about like the biggest shoes of the last however many years, and then he's talking about Air Maxes, or he's talking about all these different shoes, and he brings this freaking this thing that I hate up, and I'm just like, I guess they probably sell millions of. I bet you resellers make tons off those, buying for 60, sell them for 70, something like that. Just buy a bunch of those. So
that's
those
great.
and like I'll just be honest, Yeezys again, no hate, but it's just doesn't do anything for me. I think Kanye's got a very interesting, brilliant mind, but like especially the direction some of this stuff is going, I get it. I'm definitely far from being a high fashion person, but it's just like some of this crap coming out. I'm just like it just makes it's like if you got me thinking my shoes look better than yours,
Right.
I love my shoes and I love the way they look, but if I'm like, yo, like my silver sparkling and one sprees or whatever I had, or whatever I got is better than yours, because I remember like somebody being like, I watched another video recently where someone was talking about the Kobe 9. They're like, you can't wear the Kobe 9 with clothes. I'm like, I wear the Kobe 9 with clothes all the time. It definitely looks better than a pair of Yeezys.
Right.
So but if we're talking hate, because I don't really hate the Yeezys, I'm just tired of it. If we're talking hate, it's those basic cross trainer Nikes that 90% of the world owns now.
Yeah, I get that. So since the Kobe Mambasita 6s are soon to be releasing, is that something that you want to get your hands on? What are your thoughts on those?
Do I want to? Yes, I want to. But I try to be more selective with my collecting now. It's something that's the Kobe 6 I don't think I have. I've got Kobe 4 and 5 Pro Tro or something, but never had Kobe 6, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
My intention is no.
Okay.
But I mean, Kobe was just such an influence on my life that I can never really say outright no to something, to do with him.
Right.
He's the closest thing to a mentor and a teacher that you could ever have that I never met. I think about so many different things in my life that I can relate back to Kobe. So right now, I'll tell you my intention, my plan would be no, absolutely not. I don't need those. He don't need me to need them.
Right.
All that, was walking through the mall. I see him in Foot Locker. I'm not. That's probably not going to happen. They're going to say,
Right.
What I mean? Like, I'm never going to discount the possibility that I see that thing. I'm like, man, well, I don't have it. I kind of want it. I kind of like it. So, we'll say the intention is no. The possibility is a definitely maybe.
Okay, so what's the next feature on your list? What's next for you? What's the next one you want?
Well, right now I'm really I got into the last 6 months or so really completing my Iverson collection. So like I've owned Iversons, for 20 some odd years now.
All right.
On various models, but I never had every Iverson. I think I had every Iverson model up to 9, except for the 2s.
All right.
And like a few months back, I finally got a pair of 2s.
Okay.
So I get that pair of 2s. I've got everything up to like 8 now, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, then I grabbed a pair of like 10s, 11s, 12s.
Right.
So I'm missing one. I think it's the answer 9. The second pump shoe we put out. And it's like a pure performance shoe. It's not very aesthetic at all.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool looking, but it's like you don't like rock this in the club with a pair of jeans or something.
Right.
So that's definitely on my list. Like I gotta complete that Iverson collection. And just man, whenever the heck they release that answer 3, which they've been teasing on and off many times for a decade now. So
right.
the reality is the next shoe on my list is probably another pair of answer 4s, another pair of questions, another pair of Jordan 13s. I'm just gonna see that pair in the color that I like, and
right.
So the real reality is it's probably just something I already have. But what's really on my list is to complete my Iverson collection. So the Iverson 9 pumps it is the 10s. The Iverson 10 pumps or any Iverson. I'm really big on the Iverson. Like I don't know if I can show that to you on the camera. I got them tattooed on the inside of my arm there. I'm an Iverson freak.
Yeah.
I'm Iverson through and through. He had such an influence on my life. So there's a part of me that has a longing, I think, to like complete that collection and just enhance it to any degree I can.
Okay.
Just because he means so much to me, and I just love his stuff. Like I love his stuff. So I'll say the answer 9, or excuse me, the answer 10.
Right.
But reality is, it's going to be some Iverson or Jordan I already have.
Okay, this is that we ask all our questions. What are your thoughts on this Croc? Wearing Croc. Where are you with wearing Croc? Do you have a pair? Would you wear them? What are your thoughts on that?
I do not have a pair. I definitely I wouldn't say I like shun the mainstream or something, but I'd be lying if I said there isn't some part of me that feels like a desire to not do the things everyone's doing. I think that comes partly naturally, and from that natural side, it also kind of enhances my desire to not do it.
Right.
If people are comfy, I say do what you want to do.
Right. But I'm not.
Yeah, this Crocs thing, like you see people like. I think I saw a video of someone trying to like dunk in a pair of Crocs, and like it went really bad. And, I mean, I back in the day, I wore like those And One sandals that had the little smushy thing in the back, like for your heel. So I was a big socks and sandals kind of guy. I didn't know that was like such a sin back in the day.
Right.
So I mean, whatever people want to rock. Let them rock it, but you can't put a price on comfort. I'll say that. It's pretty much comes down to that. If you're doing it because it's what's comfortable and makes you feel comfortable,
right.
I mean, I don't like it, but all the power to you. I don't need to.
All right. So these are 2 questions. So, what is your top 5 favorite basketball players? I'll do that one first. Top 5 basketball.
So we definitely got AI. You got AI. Ooh, after Iverson. Looking at the jerseys on my wall. Top 5. AI, Kobe. I mean, Jordan's in there for sure. To throw some randoms in there, like maybe Rodman.
Okay.
And then, I mean, obviously I love Ja.
All right.
There's a lot of people I don't know if I like put top 5, but names I could throw off like Sean Kemp, Paul Pierce, like just classic guys I liked. AI, Kobe, Jordan. I think I'll throw in like maybe like a Rodman in there.
Okay.
And some random underappreciated guy like Dirk Nowitzki or something, Disco Dirk. Right. Some guy who kind of like changed the game, but it's not like he's been forgotten, but like maybe people forgot how good he was or what kind of an influence he was. And way back in the day, being from Canada, Vancouver Grizzlies, they were never that good, but I loved Sharif Abdur-Rahim back in the day. He was a good, solid player.
Yeah, I remember Sharif.
Yeah, so I think top five, I'll go AI, Kobe, Jordan. Let's go AI, Kobe, Jordan. Let's throw John Morant in there. And let's make the final one. Let's just make it Rodman.
Okay. All right. Now, name either your favorite TV series or both. It's up to you.
Favorite what series?
Favorite TV series or movie, or you could do both.
Favorite TV series for sure is a show called Tour of Duty, which came out basically back when I was born. Played on CBS. It was about the Vietnam War. It's a great show. Really tackled a lot of the issues in the war, ranging from drugs to racism to just all the different things they faced throughout the war. I even got this is the sergeant. I can't find my camera. This is the sergeant. There it is. The sergeant from that show. I got him tattooed on my wrist. I'm an actor. And I've done a few like war shows and stuff like that. So I definitely got to go Tour of Duty for favorite show. And one of my favorite movies, for sure, you might remember this one, Above the Rim.
Indeed.
Tupac, yeah, Above the Rim. Like I remember the reason I mentioned that one is back in high school I worked at Blockbuster Video.
Right.
I went for the training at the time, like to train to learn how to be a CSR. They go around asking everybody their favorite movie. I remember at that time that was definitely my favorite movie. I said Above the Rim, so. Above the Rim is definitely up there. I mean, movies are my life. That's one of the reasons I moved to Vancouver. We call it Hollywood North. So it's hard for me to say my favorite movie. It's like I got Ninja Turtles, Batman Returns, but then I got $1 Million Baby or something. It's just such it's a stereotype to say, but I'm into everything. But Above the Rim is definitely way up there because that was a huge influence on me.
All right, before we get into this episode, I need everybody to make sure y'all like and share the video. And the last thing I need you to do is I need you to propose a question for the next guest. So it could be any future question for the next guest. So it would be your question for the next guest about sneakers. It could be anything about sneakers.
I think the classic age-old question is there's a fire in your house. You got to get out. You can only save one pair. Which one do you grab?
Okay.
I think that's the ultimate question for anyone with a sneaker collection, right?
Right.
You love them all, but you can only take one. Maybe you could take two, put one on your feet, grab one, go out the door. But I got a cat, so my hands will be full. So I got to pick the ones that are going on my feet.
Right.
Or you know what? I'm going to up that a bit. Instead of saying in a house fire, it's the apocalypse. You need one pair to get you through, right? What one are you picking to, wear through, hell freezing over?
All right. Thanks for joining us. This has been a great episode. We'll premiere at our regular time. We're signing out. This is Culinary Kicks. That's Gavin. This is episode 45. We're out of here.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right. Thank you.